evening. And welcome to Q&A in the Sir John Clancy Auditorium at the University of New South Wales. I'm Tony Jones, answering your questions tonight. The co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Bill Gates. Please welcome our guest. Yeah, what would be the most ambitious program then? Because getting rid of the polio vaccine by 2018 is a pretty huge task.
Yeah, eradicating polio, I think we have very strong odds of succeeding on that. We're down to 3 countries. We've had very successful fundraising over the last several months, and it's $5.5 billion, but we're using new tactics. We've looked at where it's been challenging, and we have less than 300 cases and only 3 countries. So I'd rate our odds as pretty good.
We've actually got a question in the audience on this topic. It's from Gillian Thomas.
Mr. Gates, polio survivors need special services because of post-polio syndrome and polio's late effects. Countries rarely provide these services and survivors are ignored. In Australia, most of the 400,000 polio survivors are excluded from our new National Disability Insurance Scheme, and Polio Australia is without government funding. No one will celebrate polio's eradication more than polio survivors. However, even after eradication, there will still be millions of survivors worldwide requiring polio services for up to 80 years. What strategies will get governments to shoulder their responsibility and fund essential post-polio services?
Well, you're absolutely right that polio syndrome challenges and all sorts of disabilities are very important issues. And particularly in these very poor countries, they are not given a lot of attention. I knew that when I held a girl named Hoshman, who was only 2 years old in India, who didn't really understand what it meant for her life, that she was paralyzed, that the likelihood of her having the full life that she deserved was not very good. Hopefully we can use this polio success to raise the visibility of the fact there's still people out there who need help. But first and foremost, we want to make sure that no one else has to go through that, and that's where we're very close, and it will free up a lot of money for other health activities.
Gillian, can I just come back to you for your response to that? I mean, I understand you are a polio survivor yourself, and I must say I'm quite shocked to hear that you're not covered by the disability care scheme.
No, unfortunately, it's the age 65 cut-off that's going to exclude us, because the polio vaccines came out about getting on for 65 years ago. And I got polio 5 years too soon, unfortunately.
Is there a way of dealing with this issue? I mean, could you use the money you save once you eradicate the disease? I think you're talking about billions of dollars in savings. Could that be used to help the survivors who are living on?
Yeah, well, certainly, the health funds are fungible, and so every country will look at what they're doing on disability and other things, and hopefully it keeps polio in the forefront.
Okay,
Can you tell us how you and Melinda decided to give so much away to folks outside of your family, and why do it in your lifetimes and not in your last will and testament?
Well, Chuck Feeney, who you mentioned, is one of the great philanthropists of the age, and I encourage everybody to look at his example. He's pretty much given away 99% of his money to phenomenal things, and it's really a great example that both Melinda and I have learned from. When you're lucky enough to have substantial wealth, what are the possibilities? You can build a pyramid. You can have 400 people fan you. There's kind of a limit to consumption, and so then you have to say what do you feel? What are you affiliated to? What really counts for you? If you feel like you're a citizen of the world and you want to help all of humanity, then you think, where is the greatest injustice? And I think a mother having to bury a child or having that child have so much sickness that their brain never develops, so they can't learn, they can't contribute in any way. That was a tragedy that Melinda and I decided to learn about and see were there some miracle intervention, sort of the equivalent of the microprocessor personal computer that could be created. And so in doing that, we fund scientists all over the world. In fact, this year...
Okay, let's move on. Our next question comes from Catherine Murray.
Mr. Gates, some of the world's poorest countries are run by corrupt and often totalitarian leaders. How do you manage to support the people without supporting the government?
Well, we believe that vaccination should take place in every country, no matter what you think of the leader in that country. The children in that country deserve vaccines. So we've even been involved in helping get vaccines into North Korea, which, it's a contest, but you might think of that as the worst political leadership in the world today. Not many would compete with that. And so we're involved in all countries. Somalia, where there is no government, Eritrea, where the government's imperfect, you name it, we're in there trying to get vaccines out to the children.
And places where the workers themselves have been in danger, if not some of them killed.
Well, yeah, it's very tragic that even in the case of polio, in the last 6 months, the workers have been targeted, both in Pakistan and in Nigeria, and killed. Now, the workers have chosen to keep volunteering. New security things have been put in place. The government's really taken some very good steps. But, those are real heroes that go out and get vaccines to children, even in the face of threats against their life.
Is this a particular issue with Islamist extremism in North Africa, which is becoming, and Pakistan obviously, which is becoming a lot worse?
Well, there's a group in Nigeria called Boko Haram, and what they think about this isn't totally clear. In the case of Pakistan and Afghanistan, we've actually had good luck where a lot of the Taliban groups have given so-called letters of passage where they say vaccinators can come in. They need to be convinced that it's not a plot by the U.S. government, and there were some things that confused that in terms of vaccination activities. And so maintaining that fragile trust that these people are there to help your kids and that's all they're going to do, it's never very easy, but it's actually looking pretty good right now in Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Okay, if that is all we have time for, please thank our guest, Bill Gates.